One is a leader for him. Two is a mentor so that he knows you're always leading him down the right direction. Three, and probably should be first, is trust. Your son needs to know that you will never do him wrong, not in what you say with your words, not in what you do with your body, not in where you lead him or point him in a direction. These things are the way our sons will view other humans in the world. You know, the way my mother raised me is how I viewed other people. It became very clear to me watching her do her job and live her life that, oh yeah, man, I never heard my mom complain about anything. I never heard her say, woe was me, or that person's bad, or that person's good, you know? And so I just adopted this lifestyle of, oh yeah, this is how we live. And so I think what's most important is we don't adopt other people's views on things like masculinity, and we surely don't put those on our children. If I'm not going to correct my son's way that he tracks down a running back, I'm surely not going to try to implement his ideas of what other people are viewing as good, bad, or indifferent. We have a lot of opportunities in our day-to-day life to fix those things. And this goes back to something that I think maybe you and I talked about before, but fixing our street before we're worrying about what the president does. After our street's done, fixing our town before we worried about what the president does. Everybody's quick to holler at the top guy. They don't even know their neighbor. They don't have a recycling program on their block yet. You know, it's like, let's start right here.
That's a great point. Like, there is a lot of banter about what the higher ups say and what the higher ups do. And then almost like this conditioning, what they want us to think where masculinity is going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Everybody's got a battle to wage. And I'll tell you right now, if the first thing I wanted to do was sell waffles in your neighborhood, I would A, talk about how good waffles are, and B, I would tell you avoid anybody who's telling you anything negative about waffles. And you better beware of that, because those are the type of people that do X, Y, and Z. Before you know it, half the town's going to hate waffles and half the town's going to love them. Before you know it, half the restaurants in town are going to be promoting waffles, and half of them are going, we don't ever sell waffles. Come here, you will have a divide instantly. More than just having a cause, beware of people that have a cause and then an anti-cause. We don't need those people. I'm not going to tell you that my gym's the best and you better not ever do Pilates. Don't ever do Pilates. Man, you go do Pilates, do whatever you want. I'm always weary of the people or groups that tell me one way is really good and the opposite of them is really bad.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for me.
There's a lot of that in the fitness community.
Oh my gosh, endless amounts. I mean, within our very own circle, right?
Yes.
There's guys who claim, there's guys, I mean, I don't want to name names here, but there's guys who claim that their way is superior and actually the only way.
Yeah.
And that's your first indication they're not highly educated on the rest of the way things work. I'm highly involved in the product side of the fitness industry. And I can't tell you how many times I'll get a DM to one of these clients inboxes that talk about how horrible that product is. And they'll list one reason, one downfall. And it's like, well, man, it's very unfortunate that you've taken that stance, because what it tells me is you haven't educated yourself on the rest of the uses of this singular product. So we can do better by creating more value. And that's what happens in things like politics. We can make better educated choices if we had more value, more information. Things like the topic of masculinity, I think are so beyond distracting that it's almost horrifying. The fact that this is a topic that we could talk about that's on the news rather than the other 400 things that should be talking about, right?
Yeah.
But that's my
No, totally. I mean, I guess there's like this conditioning aspect to make people think that men today aren't as adequate as they once were. It is an interesting topic, and due to social media and having all kinds of information at your fingertips and this instant gratification type of thing that kind of kids are growing up with, they're not getting that dopamine release from effort itself. It's quickly induced from something else, which has this impact on allowing kids to develop their own level of discipline and their ability to develop skills and thus create something that's going to be good for their generation and generations to come. And I don't necessarily worry about it, but as somebody who is trying to impact youth and young men in general, like, I just want to be a good example to them and talk about some of the things they can do to improve themselves and develop over time and not get sucked into some of the distractions that exist today that didn't